The place astonished me with its beauty, a corner studio whose main room had a south and an east bay window through which light cascaded. Golden oak floors, high-coved ceilings, and white walls with rectangular panels of molding. Glass-paneled doors with crystal doorknobs. A separate kitchen with another east-facing window that would explode with morning light when the sun came up over the big house across the street. It seemed luminous, a little unearthly, a place from a fairy tale, immense and exquisite compared to the Spartan single rooms in which I'd mostly lived since I'd left home, shortly after I turned 17. I floated around in it for a while, then went back downstairs and told the manager I wanted it. He said kindly, "If you want it, you should have it." I wanted it passionately. It was more beautiful than anything I'd ever dreamed I could have, and being in it seemed like a dream itself. He was a big black man of 60, tall, stout, strong, clearly once very handsome, still an impressive figure with a low rumbling voice, and if he was dressed that day as he was most days I knew him, he was wearing overalls. He brought me into his parlor. That Super Bowl Sunday afternoon when a local football team was in the game, and a roar would go up from homes throughout the neighborhood with every score, he was watching black men play the blues on his big TV, sitting on its own table near the six-sided green felt poker table. The light outside filtered through old-fashioned wide slatted blinds over his bay windows. When he handed me the rental application, my heart fell. I told him that I had already been turned down by the slumlord management company whose name was at the top of the form. One of the employees had disdainfully dropped my application into the wastebasket next to his desk while I looked on. I didn't make enough money to meet their minimums. The building manager told me that if I got a respectable older woman to apply, he wouldn't tell them of the deception. I took up that offer and asked my mother, who had often refused to go out on a limb for me, if she would. This one time she did, filling out and submitting the form. The management company was not suspicious about why a white homeowner who lived on the other side of the Golden Gate Bridge wanted the apartment. I think she said something about being closer to work because she kept the books on a talent agency in the city. They probably gave it to her by rote as the most financially impressive applicant for a small place in a black neighborhood. For the next 8 years, I paid my rent every month by buying a money order and signing her name rather than mine to it. The lease specified that the person who'd signed it be the person who lived there, so I did not officially exist in my home that was not officially mine. Though I'd end up spending so many years there, I felt for a long time that I might be chased off at any moment and should be as invisible as possible, which reinforced a tendency toward furtiveness, a habit of trying to go undetected, that I'd developed as a child. At some point, the property management company found out that the resident was not the signer of the lease and asked the building manager what was going on. He vouched for me as a quiet, responsible tenant, and nothing happened, but I still felt precarious. James V. Young was the building manager's name. I always called him Mr. Young. Sometime or other he mentioned that I was the first white person to live in the building in 17 years. The other residents were mostly older couples, though a single mother and her friendly daughter lived in another of the studio apartments in that building, which had 7 apartments opening off the stairwell on 2 stories, above a ground floor of garages. That I had moved into a black neighborhood was something I had not yet grasped. It would teach me many things over the years to come, and I would stay so long that when I left a middle-class white place whose buildings remained largely unchanged beyond fresh paint, but where everything else was transformed, and something vital had died. I changed too. The person who moved out in the 21st century was not that person who'd arrived all those years before. There is a thread of continuity. The child is mother of the woman, but so much happened, so much changed, that I think of that spindly, anxious young woman as someone I knew intimately, someone I wish I could have done more for, someone I feel for as I often do for the women her age I meet now. That long-ago person was not exactly me, not like me at all in crucial ways, but me anyway, an awkward misfit, a daydreamer, a restless wanderer.